running to retain my job as your Orange County judge. You can vote early or on election day on August 23rd.
This is a political advertisement paid for and approved by the Committee to Keep Judge Andrew Bain, nonpartisan for County Judge Group 2.
Hey, y'all, this is Inspiration 1680, FM 100.7, South Orlando and Kissimmee.
This is WOKB 1680 AM Winter Garden
and W264DV
100.7 FM Kissimmee, the heart and soul of Central Florida. The views and opinions of the following program is not necessarily those of WOKB, staff, and management of Unity Broadcasting.
Hello, everyone. It is our lunch hour. It is Thriving Thursday here with your host, Jennifer Yon. I am always excited, but this journey, this last week, has been something that I can say, whoo, child, about. It has been so interesting, you know, with the political races that are happening right now. I am seeing things and hearing things that I did not even think would exist. You know, lunchtime should be about fun. We are going to kick back. We're going to relax. We're going to just have some casual, fun conversation with some of the candidates that are running. But I'm going to talk about some of the crazy things that I've seen out here and heard out here and get your response on it. You know, today's show, we're going to have a little bit of less music, and I'm going to welcome you to call in and ask questions. You know, call in to 407-894-1680. You know, we are going to be joined throughout this lunch hour by some amazing leaders, because it is a leadership time right now, what we are facing in our communities. We want leaders in charge. We want leaders with courage that are not going to back down, but we also want leaders with integrity. You know, I always start out with my Thursday thoughts, and I want to say integrity is so important these days. When you are saying you are a leader, are you really walking the path of success that you would be proud of? When people are not watching you, are you doing things that are unheard of, that you'll be embarrassed about? Or are you really using your intent, your platform, and your impact to do the right thing? You know, doing the right thing is what I want to talk about today. Having our guests that's going to be chiming in on doing the right thing, I think is so important. You know, I am welcoming right now in the station, if you are viewing, share this live stream. I promise you, this is going to be a good old show. And if you are listening, sit down, grab you a bite to eat. It is the lunch hour, and we are about to get fed the right way at the right time with some amazing guests today. So we're going to start out. We are going to start out with Camilla. Camilla, you are currently in seat. Miss Camilla Brown, how are you doing, and welcome?
I'm doing good today. Thank you for having me on your show.
Yes, so you are currently in seat. You know, I want you to just really start with letting individuals know, because if you have not been tuning in to the race, and you have not been plugged into the community, you may not know the actual candidates that's out there, or you may not know if they are serving already. And I think it's important to know who's serving, because a lot of times, you know, our leaders, they get so busy in seat when they're currently performing that they don't really have a lot of time left to do a lot of the legwork in the community. So when I've heard, we only hear from candidates or elected officials when it's time to vote, I want you to respond to that, because tell us what you have been doing.
Okay. Well, currently I serve as the state representative for House District 45. That area encompasses the areas of Ocoee, South Apopka, East Winter Garden, Pine Hills, Rosemont, Lockhart, pieces of Oyla Vista, and then also the community of Zellwood, further out on the edge of Orange County. I've been serving for 6 years now in the Florida legislature, got elected in 2016. And during that time, I've served in leadership in the House. You know, I've been the minority whip. I've had the opportunity to be the policy chair for our caucus, and currently serve as a Democratic leader pro tem. So that's the number 2 Democrat in the House. And that leadership position was appointed by our caucus leader. And so, that has an array of responsibilities of making sure all of our members, we have about a little over 40 members, Democratic members, and so making sure they're prepared. We have freshmen that is mentoring our freshmen, making sure folks know what we're doing, how we're voting. I also serve as the current chair of the Florida Legislative Black Caucus, and so there are quite a few of our Black Caucus members around the state. And so we, again, deal and advocate for issues that affect our community statewide. In my time here, I'm a new mom, or not so new mom, so I have a 23-month-old who will be 2 on next year. So I'm a mom and have been doing the legislative work, the constituent services work here throughout the district. The district is pretty big, and so usually we're spending about 5 months, at least 5 months out of the year, in Tallahassee, whether it's through committee week or the legislative session. If you've seen over the past couple years, with just some of the many issues we've dealt with in the state, we've been in Tallahassee a little more than often. But of course, when we have come back, session ended in March, and so I hit the ground running with a campaign to run for the Senate seat. During this past legislative session, we had redistricting, and so that happens every 10 years, where, right after the census, we divvy up the various districts based off of the population. And so Senate District 15 is what I'm running for. It is the former, or will be the former, Senate District 11 that currently Senator Randolph Bracey serves in. As we know, he is running for Congress, and our Congresswoman who represents our area is now running for the U.S. Senate. And so we've been busy with this particular campaign, and, we'll be continuously up until August 23rd, which is the primary election.
I have to admire, everyone that is not just running, but currently serving at the same time, because I know the job is not easy. There's a lot of questions that come to me, and I can't ask all the questions because we don't have enough time for that today. But one of the questions that has been asked is, there's you and one other candidate. Both of you all have experience. What makes you feel that you are the best candidate for this role? Because this role obviously needs someone with experience.
Other than that, it is my time. As I mentioned to you, I've kind of worked my way up in this process, currently serving in the House. Prior to that, I was a legislative aide, served as a legislative aide for about 13, 14 years. I got into this process through an internship. And so I've gone from an intern, from a staffer, which is an aide, now a House member, and headed to the Senate. In that time, I learned how to bring solutions to the critical issues affecting our community. And since I've been in the House, my record is way more effective than my opponent. I've been able to each year pass bills, which, we're in a Republican-controlled legislature. I've been able to pass bills, but also bring money home. And it's one thing to pass bill, but when you're talking about meaningful bills that make real impact in our community, I've been consistent with that. Another thing that differs from us is, I am a product of this community. I'm born and raised in this community, and I actually live in District 15. My opponent does not. And I think, with us having leadership that's willing to take that next step to serve the community, I think it's important to make sure we give that to the person who most deserves it. I've been a hard worker consistently. I've been out in this district. Just about 70% of my current House seat sits in District 15. And so I am looking forward to continue my service, being in the community, knowing the community, again, because I am a product of it. I graduate of Jones High School. Have gone to elementary school as well as middle school throughout this district, whether it was Apopka or whether it was Gotha, whether it was Pine Hills. I am entrenched and understand the needs of this community way more than my opponent, but more importantly, I am able to deliver the results
Yes.
that my community needs, unlike my opponent.
You know, I think all about delivering the results are so important. You know, I'm going to introduce our other guest that's here because I want to ask you that very same question. You know, we're talking about results. We're talking about being planted in the community. Welcome, Chris Delgado. He is running for County Commissioner District 2. You know, what makes you feel that you are the best person for this seat?
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Jennifer, and great to be here with you, Camilla. And that's a great question. And what I like to say is that for the first time, the District 2 County Commission seat, the community has an individual that is purely in it to serve their community and have their best interest. Over the last 14 years, I've invested in my own education. I've invested in my own businesses, or had startup businesses and been successful in those. And so this is purely a move to bring the best interests of my community forward, and what we've been doing in my area that I live in, Apopka, bringing it to the county-wide. And as I go through all of District 2 into Pine Hills, into Eatonville, into Lockhart, and Zellwood, Tangerine, and talking to residents in those areas, you know, they're talking about someone who's absent and not present. And so currently right now, this District 2 has a candidate who will be present, who's vowed to be present, and who's doing the work that the incumbent should be doing, rather than just playing politics and like you said earlier, just showing up every 4 years and asking for people's vote and money. I haven't asked my community for anything. I haven't asked for $1 out of my community. I've only asked for one thing, and that is their vote.
Yes. So asking for their vote, you know, you're out here hitting the pavement too. So you're not asking for money. What are you asking for? Where could your campaign use help?
Volunteers, people to sign away, people to be at the polls showing their support. And, you know, and I open myself up. I open myself up to meet individuals throughout the community. You know, I've invited people to my home to learn more about me. We had very successful events where people can come out and meet me in person. So really what our campaign needs is, you know, if you support my campaign, if you support me as an individual, one, your vote is most important, but two, your support to show up to the polls and become a volunteer.
You know, I'm pretty sure, Camille, you can kind of feel that same need,
Oh, yeah.
you know, out here in the community. How can a person that believes in your message join you and be a part?
Well, I say that there are positions and places for everybody to get engaged in the political process, but also during their campaign seasons. I know sometimes folks get discouraged because they can be so nasty at times.
Yeah.
But there is something for everybody to do, regardless of age. And so, there are phone banking opportunities, or whether there is helping to answer various communications, volunteering, even taking over, you know, social media pages for a day to kind of just talk about the community and some of the needs, and interview some of our constituents to see what those needs are and what they're looking for in the new candidate that will represent them. You know, we've been raising money. We've been picking up several endorsements throughout this campaign. So, you know, my opponent being an educator, I received endorsement by the Florida Education Association. Wow. Our health workers who've been, you know, great with boots on the ground. Florida Rising, which is a huge community advocacy group right here in our area that does some amazing work with getting folks engaged. And so whether it is, you know, volunteering at the polls for an hour, or waving a sign, or even just calling folks within your phone to let them know we need to get out to vote.
Yes.
You know, I know we're always talking about our lives depend on it each cycle, but they actually do.
Yeah.
We see what's going on. We have a housing crisis. There are leaders that we need to put in place, and not just within seats that represent more of our urban or rural, urban areas, but also our rural areas, our more affluent. We need well-versed people who understand the plight and the needs of those within this particular community, and who will go to Tallahassee or go to the county office to represent them and their voices. I mean, we got to bring people back to government.
Yes.
And I think when you have more engaged and when you are able to share, how you go about doing it, folks get more involved and know and be able to see sort of the importance of it.
Yes.
We have a governor. We need a new governor. I don't know if anybody realized that, but we need a new one. I will not be supporting the current one, and he has not been good for people that look like me or my community, those that are, the less than those.
Okay.
And so I think it's important when we, bring back hope with, change. I know Obama, had us riled up, but post-Obama, folks have been at home or less engaged, and we gotta get back out there
Into the
and
engagement.
turn this thing around and really get folks to the polls. Whether it's your 18-year-old who, is just starting school, or those that are headed off to college, make sure they go to the polls early and vote before they head off to school, or our grandparents.
Yes.
There are several seniors within our community that may need rides because they're just so used to going, in person, that it's important that we, take care of our community and make sure we do this thing as a collective and make sure we have a successful election.
That is so important. If you are tuning in, this is our Thriving Thursday. This is our lunch hour. We are just talking to candidates. We're talking to leaders. We're talking to current elected officials. We're touching a lot of the areas, but one area I do want to cover is the integrity of the race. We all as leaders, I believe in just this last couple of weeks and seeing some of the dirt that happens behind the scenes should not be that way.
Absolutely.
We have to be better as individuals to run a clean race, do the right thing, and know and have faith that if your message comes across to the community, you will get that vote. But that vote has to be made. So I encourage you, you're watching, who are you taking to the polls? It's not about us telling you who to vote for. Jennifer Young Agency and IBA Success Magazine, we are not here to tell you who to vote for. We are here to identify the leaders in the community and give them a platform to speak. We welcome all individuals that are running because we as small businesses cannot be successful if the individuals that are there to make decisions for us don't stand up and don't have a backbone. With that being said, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to listen to just a little bit of music because I want to keep it light and have fun for this lunch break. When we come back, we have a caller that's going to give us a little insight of integrity, but then we also are going to be joined by another guest. So stay tuned, listen to some of these jams, and we will be right back.
I've been high, I've been low, I've been looking for the river that could fill my soul. Been walking to a city I cannot see. Fill my cup, Lord, run it over. Give me love, give me joy, give me peace. Fill my cup, Lord, run it over. I am your child in need, Lord, I need you. Fill my cup. Walking over life standing in my way. They can say what they want, I don't want what they say. I was born far from home, but I've been thriving in the wonder of the great unknown. 'Cause I'm drinking from a well from another place. Fill my cup, Lord, run it over. Give me love, give me joy, give me peace.
We are back. Like I said, just some brief breaks today. We have a full house. We have just been joined by Congresswoman Corrine Brown. How are you?
Oh, great. Great.
Hey, you have been a regular. You've been popping in with us every Thursday.
Oh, yes. God is good. Thank you so much.
Yes. So tell our listeners that if maybe this is their first Thursday or maybe this is their first time hearing your name, exactly a little bit about yourself and what you are running for currently.
Okay. I am Congresswoman Corrine Brown. I'm running for the 10th District of Florida, Congressional District. I've served Orange County for 24 years. I personally sued the state of Florida in 1992 for 4 seats. The compromise was 3, and that's how Congressman L.C. Hastings, Carrie Meeks, and Corrine Brown went to the United States Congress, and it was the first time that an African American went to Congress from Florida in 129 years. Now that's amazing, amazing. Most states, we knew Shirley Chisholm and Barbara Jordan and all these great people, but we had no one. And so for 24 years, I have represented the Orange County area, and we've done some great works partnerships together. From Sunrail, a $1 billion project. I'm so excited about it, and I want to thank you for joining me on the ride where we carried about 150 seniors for the first time on Sunrail.
Yes, that was an amazing day. It goes back to what you were saying, Camille. We got 2 Browns in the house.
Yes.
I think Browns is strong today, right? It goes back to what you're saying is getting people to the polls, you know, and looking out for our senior citizens. That event that you did was awesome because those seniors, not only did they get a chance to get out of the house and dress up, like they was showing up, they was showing out, and it was just a great day to see them involved. But what was even more inspiring is to know that they are interested in still making a difference. That is so important.
Oh, yes, they understand the sacrifices that they and their families have made so they have the opportunity to vote.
Yes. We are joined right now. We're joined by Judge Andrew Bain. Are you there? Are you here with us today?
Yes, ma'am. How are you all doing?
I am doing great. Thank you so much for taking time to just jump in and chat with us. We're talking about integrity, and you sit in a seat that you definitely have to uphold high integrity for. Could you let our listeners know a little bit about yourself and what you are currently doing to stay where you are?
I'm Andrew Bain. I'm an Orange County judge. I'm sitting in Group 2. So if you look at your ballots during early voting or absentee ballots or on next couple of weeks on August 23rd is Election Day, I will be on that ballot for you. I'm originally from South Florida. I grew up there in neighborhoods that similar to the neighborhoods surrounding the radio station, Ocoee and Pine Hills and Paramore, and I had an opportunity to take my talents that God gave me to play football to the University of Miami, where I played there. And after that, I got a chance to play in the NFL, and I came back because I found a love for the law when I was at the University of Miami. There were no lawyers for me to look up to and kind of aspire to be, and judges to look up to. So I really found that out when I got to the University of Miami, and I really found after I suffered a tragedy with one of my teammates that was murdered that law school was going to be the place for me. And so I started serving here and went to law school at FAMU downtown and was a prosecutor for a little while, and I've been a judge for now 2 years. And the subject of integrity is kind of what the theme of I've been talking about this whole week, is dealing with professionalism and integrity, both on the bench and in your personal life. So I just finished speaking to the new class of FAMU College of Law students. They're going through orientation right now about professionalism, about being a lawyer of integrity and being a community person of integrity as well, because our theme there is Rattlers for Justice. So we want to make sure that we're doing that in a way that's going to be celebrated by our community and with the people around it.
Why do you think it's important that you stay in the seat that you're in?
I think it's important that I stay in the seat that I'm in right now because I bring a different voice than a lot of other judges that are on the bench. I bring a different background, different talents, different things that allow me to associate with a lot of the people that I deal with on a daily basis. Because in county court, we are what they call a people's court, and we deal with people. We don't deal with a lot of lawyers too often. Really, about half my docket is really just all lawyers, and the rest of it is just really regular people that have, real issues and things that we're trying to resolve for them, either on both the criminal side and on the civil side where I sit right now.
You recently.
Go ahead.
As we talk about integrity and you being in a seat that really changes lives, like you said, you're here for the people. And I think every individual, every candidate, every elected official that's sitting here, that's a part of this lunch hour, you're here for the people, and we think about what we can do right for the people. When I say integrity, I look at the leaders that I've been talking to over this last 2 weeks. I look at the response that we've been getting back from them, or the lack of response that we've been getting back from them. And I really ask myself, do I want a person in office that is going to do things like bash another person versus uplifting them? Or do I want a person in office that's going to ride around town and steal signs of their opponent? What would your response be as a judge, just knowing some of the things that are done behind the scenes for other seats during this time of elections?
Well, judge races are specifically designed to be what we call old school gentleman's type campaigning. And anything that's really outside of that seems it's a violation of our judicial canons. Our races are designed to be, you can't mislead people, you can't, falsify information, you can't tell half truths. You have to be fully candid about who you are and their qualifications. All those things are part of the rules that go around, circle around judicial campaigns, which is just different. Those same rules of ethics don't really apply to other candidates. So when you look at a judicial race, the race should look kind of boring in a way, because it should be somebody talking to you about who they are, their qualifications, what they bring to the table, and pretty much that's about it. Because anything other than that, then you're tearing down like somebody that you're trying to tear down, somebody you could lose to, and still going to be the judge that somebody has to seek, be in front of. There's going to be out there in the community. So you want to have the face of our judiciary look clean. You want to look like it's going to be something that people can trust in, because really we are the space where laws are all expressed. So when something happens, the law is going to be expressed in a courtroom somewhere. So you want the judges to be in a position where the public trusts what's going on with that judge, with the system, because that's what really brings integrity to the judicial process when people come before the court.
Yes, I love that answer. And trust is so important in leadership. How can a person read more about you, contact you if they have any questions, or tell us what you may need in this last stretch of your campaign?
Right now, I just need everybody to spread the word, to go out and exercise the right to vote, exercise that right that so many of us have fought for, to exercise that right that my parents and my uncles and my grandmother and everybody during that time, during the civil rights movement, fought for, to get us the right to vote in a serious and material way. Even people in the suffrage movement for women to have the right to vote, and back in the 1920s. So a lot of people have given up a lot of their lives and dedicated that ability for us to go out and express our political will, our voice, and what needs to be heard. So for me, if you want to get in contact with me, you can always email us at info@judgebain.com. You can visit our website at judgebain.com. You can follow us on social media, on Instagram and Facebook. Both of those are Keep Judge Bain. And we'd love to get in contact with you. If you want to speak with me, I'm available. I'm not doing hearings and running after two very energetic school-age children. I'll definitely try to make the time to break out and talk to you and tell you about what we do is in the courthouse, because a lot of people don't know what we do for you every day. So unless you have a case in front of us, but we do a lot more than just. I feel like judges should be doing a lot more than just doing cases that are in front of them. I'm a big believer in being out in our community, serving. That's why I teach as well at the College of Law. Mentor. I do all those kind of things like that because I think that it's important that we're out in the community as well, so people know more about what we do and know more about the law. So you always, as I said, visit us on our website, judgebain.com, and we'll love to get in contact with you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us, taking the time. We're going to let you jump back into your job that you are doing very well for us. Remember, it's about using your voice to vote. And if you are unsure of who to vote for, this is the time, this is the platform to plug in and educate yourself. Education is key. With that being said, we're going to say goodbye, Judge Bain. Thank you again for jumping in. And you all don't forget, voting is the final day is August 23rd, but you can actually go out and vote now. Now is the time. Do not wait, and take someone with you. All right, so we are going to keep the lunch hour moving. You know, Judge Bain had a lot to say. He had a lot to say. You know, we never even think about the judges, the ones that are in partnership with you all to help you make the changes to put the laws in. You know, the power of relationship and partnership is great. What I've seen on this campaign, and you three that are sitting with me, I've seen you all circle around in some of the same places. You know, that tells me that you want to work with other leaders to get things done. You know, Chris, you have done a great job of having lots of events, and every time I turn up, I see somebody's joining your event. You know, tell us about your last event. What did you do?
Yeah, we had our last event in Apopka, which is my home turf, because I live there, and you know, we had about 300 people show out to the event. We gave away about 300 backpacks right before school. And if you know anything about me, you know that my kids are the most important in my life, and I'm very, very much involved in their school with their principal and all that kind of stuff. So doing all the back-to-school drives across Orange County has been just such a fulfilling moment. But did have an encounter with one of my challengers, the incumbent to be specific. And, you know, I would say that, you know, this race I wish our races were like the judges' races, where it's a gentleman's race or a woman, you know,
fair
race,
integrity.
I guess you would say, integrity-based race. My first interaction with the incumbent, Christine Moore, was there was no hello or just a professional greeting. It was very much aggressive and accusational based. My first encounter ever meeting the current county commissioner. And we had, I think within a week of launching our campaign, we had a police report filed against our campaign saying we were stealing signs and removing signs. And, you know, I am self-funding my campaign. And so I know how expensive signs are. I know how expensive materials are for your campaign. So I would never go out and cause that financial hurt to another person. So the fact that this person doesn't know anything about me and has done zero research, where I can't say about the other one because she has done her research about me and has given me my accolades and has thanked me for my community service, the current county commissioner, Christine, has not. So the irony, I would say, there's irony in everything. As I was pulling up to the event, I saw that she was putting out her signs, which I have no issue with. We are running a very, very, we're getting down to the wire. We have early voting. She was going to put her signs out at my event, which I paid to rent out the park. So technically only my signs were allowed to be there. But, you know, I get it. It's part of the job and part of the race. When I approached her, I noticed that she had our other opponent's signs in her car. So the person accusing both campaigns of stealing signs, removing the stars, has, and I'm sure my signs were in there, I didn't see them, but had her back seat filled with Miss Sandra Fatima Hall signs. I took video evidence of this, and I obviously have it and haven't posted or anything about it, but I approached her and confronted her and said that I don't think it's fair that we are all trying to play within each other's guidelines, and you're using your position to leverage law enforcement or leverage the code enforcement to pick up our signs that may or may not be in a particular spot that's allowed. But you're using the bench to against your opponents, which I guess that's your position you can do.
But is that integrity?
There's no integrity in that aspect. There's no integrity in the fact that you're not only making public accusations, because there are posts against our campaign every single morning about how we don't have ethics and no integrity and all that stuff. But lo and behold, you get your hand caught in the cookie jar.
That's not, that is not good. I've gotten a lot of calls. We're talking about integrity and we're talking about police. So I have to ask Corrine, because it was asked to me. And I want to say, again, our platform is not to throw mistakes or bruises on the table, but it's to have a corrective action and for individuals to know where you've come from. I don't know a lot about your story that you've had with the law, but others know. So a question came in that was very simple, and it said, with you having the experience that you had with the law, why would the community want to vote for you?
Well, I tell you, they should want to vote for me because I am going to make some changes in the criminal justice system. Do you understand? Criminal justice. And the point is that we are the fourth in the world's population, but we 33% of women in prison, first-time offense, nonviolent, with children. Mm-hmm. And those children, you lose your Social Security, then those children become homeless. And then that goes to the vicious cycle. I see the system. I know the system. I've been extremely effective when it comes to transportation and veterans, and I will be extremely efficient in changing this criminal justice system, period.
Yes. Do you feel like the justice system did you fairly?
I feel that the Lord sent me on a mission.
Okay.
And he sent me on a mission to see how his people was suffering and knowing that I would do something about it. 400 years of slavery, knowing that I will take a look at it and I will know what to do to change it.
Yes.
And I'm stronger and wiser and better. I can't tell you the number of women that I helped. And let's be clear, I was at a camp, the same camp that Marcia Stewart was at. Okay, so camp. And the point is, you had to have an appointment to see me. And I can't tell you the number of people that I helped didn't understand the system and was able to get pardons and get a release, and it's just amazing to me. And while we're sitting here talking about judges, legislators have a responsibility to, when they pass laws, don't make them open-ended. Yeah. It does not need to be open-ended. It needs to be clear, so that prosecutors or judges can interpret what you meant. So you have to do your due diligence. Yeah, you got to do it. But I've seen too many cases where legislators, I met, and I've gone to workshops and town hall meetings. I met 4 or 5 black men that had served 30 years in prison. And so I asked the question, did you kill somebody? You would think that's what it was. But it was ghost drugs. Now, I didn't know what a ghost drug was, but it's you tell on me that I was a kingpin or something. So I get the 30 years and you get 5, and it doesn't have, and the government have no proof that it took place.
Wow. How does things like that happen, Camille?
It's a broken
system.
system.
Can you add in on
I
that
definitely will say
conversation?
the system is broken.
Okay.
And again, part of it is, again, looking at who you put in office, leadership, who's really going to advocate with making sure we change specifically those laws that, don't serve and, causes problems throughout our community.
Yeah.
Our prison system, there's reform that needs to be in it. I know we years ago looked at criminal justice reform, but it was not done to, again, assist the problem. It brought in more investors to make more money off of
That's right.
the backs of people.
It's the system is not broken because the system is operating how they intended it to operate. They start targeting our children in 3rd grade, so they can build a prison, and they get a prison and Walmart, and they're middle class. And what are you doing? You're filling up the prison, and you don't even sell them soap.
Wow.
No, it's a terrible system, and it's one of the worst in the world. Now, I know this is going to be mind-shingling, but we have more people in prison than Russia and China combined.
Wow.
Yeah, wow. In 1994, I voted for the assault ban and 100,000 cops on the streets, but they did something with drugs that put thousands of people in prison for marijuana. And now it's a business, and we can't even participate in it. We should be able to, we've served the time, so we should be able to get the goods from it. We should be able, we should be able.
Yeah, it's definitely time to update a lot of these antiquated laws.
Yeah.
Because there has to be change.
Yes, and you know what? There can't be change, though, without those votes. And this is why we are here. It is Thriving Thursday. I'm here for the lunch hour every Thursday, and we have one more Thursday before the 23rd. So this is serious. If you all are watching, if there's anybody that has questions for any of the candidates, officials that are here, feel free to call in. We are on our last few minutes before our lunch break is over. But today, I've been fed, and not, those oxtails that I want from Bar 5, though. We're going to give a shout out to Bar 5 because they are one of our sponsors, and it is the lunch hour. They do offer 9 lunch items under $9. You can check them out. But if you are in the area this evening, IBA Success Magazine is hosting the digital cover reveal. Some of the candidates right here will be there. I think you all will be there this evening for some more one-on-one conversation if you want to keep the conversation going. But it does not continue if we don't use our voices to vote. That is so important.
Let me mention one thing.
Yes, ma'am.
I think it's, I can talk to people and they walk in and say, I voted for the president, or I voted for you. And I said, what about the rest of the ballot? They just walk out. No, these people on every single category affect your life.
Yep.
Whether it's, supervisor of elections, crucial, city council. And you cannot just elect a person. You can elect them, but you got to make them accountable.
Absolutely.
You need to go to the city council meeting.
Absolutely.
You need to go to the school board meeting. So we got a system that you got to participate in.
Engagement is key.
Yes.
And I tell constituents all the time, it's bigger than just the election day.
Yes.
There's more work to do after that. And I think when we hold our elected officials accountable, regardless of where they are, hold them accountable, pay attention to what they're doing. So there's less work that we have to do or research that we have to do when it's time for that next cycle. We know who needs to continue on with their service and who we need to get out of there and make changes.
You know, there's a lot of individuals that's running right now, and you have to ask, why are they running? You know, so as we close out this lunch, and again, I'm inviting you all to stay tuned to the Jennifer Young Agency platform, you know, to come into Bar 5 this evening from 7 to 9, talk more, have more of a meet and greet with some of these candidates. But as we close, I really want to just kind of go around the round table, and I want you to kind of, you know, talk directly to that voter that may be trying to make a decision on who to vote for. And if you are watching, look directly at this camera and tell that voter why they need to vote for you. Okay, Chris, I'm going to put you in the hot chair because, listen, you're the new person at the table, but from what I've learned, you are not new with giving and investing in yourself and building communities. So why? Talk to us and let us know, does the person need to vote for you?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, the biggest part of I'm running is to be that community advocate. And I know that's so cliche, but you have an individual on the ballot right now that it's my only sole purpose is to serve. I have invested in my own education. I have invested in my own companies and have been successful and blessed in those. So my time is dedicated to serve my community, whether it's in my own personal charity, on my own personal time, or in as the new elected county commissioner. But I bring those aspects I feel like that my challengers don't, and that is, you know, everyone talks about education reform, everyone talks about tax reform or criminal justice reform, and I have that background, especially in the educational aspect, and I think our community is missing that. How can businesses thrive in District 2? How can communities thrive because of those businesses? And my focus is to build a business-centric hub of District 2 and bring in those higher paying wages, bring in more affordable housing. And I hate the bad connotation around affordable housing. You're looking at a development being built in the middle of Apopka, and I'll wrap up here, but you're looking at development built in the middle of Apopka, and look at the surrounding area of that development, of that affordable housing. It's right in the middle of a school. It's right in the middle of where all the downtown restaurants are. It's all in the middle of where healthcare administrators are. So affordable housing is supporting the community, and District 2 is missing that.
Yes, and we can finish this conversation with you at 7 o'clock at Bar 5.
Tonight.
Yes, tonight. Miss Camille Brown over there, briefly.
Yes, well, thank you again for having me. Look, I'm looking to continue my effective service.
Yes.
I think, you know, with the many concerns and the issues that need to be solved within our community, it's good to have someone or vote for someone who can deliver those effective results.
Yes.
I have a track record. Each year have been effective, but more importantly, just knowing how to adapt within a Republican-controlled legislature. My work in Tallahassee is not done, and so I look forward and ask for the support of my community, the community that I live in, the community that raised me, my village, to vote for me August 23rd or during an early voting cycle as their next senator of District 15.
Yes, ma'am. And Miss Corrine Brown delivers this. I can't wait for this conversation to continue this evening. Briefly, look at the audience and let them know exactly why they need to have you here.
Listen, I really do believe that to whom God has given much, much is required. And I believe when you're born, you get a birth certificate. When you die, you're going to get a death certificate. And that little dash in between is what you've done to make this world a better place.
Yes.
So I am running to finish my work as a congressperson from this area. VoteCorrine.com. I need your prayers, your support, your vote, and your money.
And your money. You heard that. This is how we're closing out our lunch.
That's how these campaigns
This
run.
is how these campaigns run. Join us. There are some free tickets, but there are also some tickets out there on Eventbrite for the cover reveal of IBA Success Magazine tonight. That includes a soul food dinner and unlimited champagne, because we are celebrating the success that is already in the making through our leaders in the community. Thank you all for having lunch with me on this Thriving Thursday. I promise to keep the momentum going. We will see you tonight at 7 o'clock, Bar 5. Look on this page for a link to register. You all have a great day.